Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do something a little different and maybe kind of describe what I'm doing in this clip. Maybe help some people in the War Thunder community who are having trouble flying the P-51. So today I'm going to be flying the P-51C Mustang, which was one of the first Mustangs to ever come into service in World War II. Now this plane in a nutshell, it's very quick. It has fairly poor visibility in the cockpit. Has decent armament with the 4 Freedom Dispenser 50 cals that light everything and anything on fire. It's got okay maneuverability and pretty decent flaps in my experience. It has great energy retention and a very shit rudder. And the Allison engine, which is what the P-51C has, is good for climbing at lower altitudes, but once you get past 4,000 meters, it really starts to kind of go down because of the fact that it doesn't have a supercharger, which, if you don't know what that is something that pretty much force feeds air into the engine, which gives it more power. Xander! So as you can see, I am side climbing right now just to kind of get a better altitude advantage. Xander! 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 Just to get a better altitude advantage. Ignore me there. That's... I'm not blind, that's all that. My little brother was doing something as I was playing, so I was calling his name a little bit. Anyways, what was I saying? Just ignore me there. So, yeah, so I'm side climbing because the BF-109s and Yaks definitely have a better climb rate than me, especially past around 25,000 meters, because they can keep their speed in a climb because of the fact they have a supercharger, except for the Yak. It just has a more powerful engine overall. Wait, no. Well, the Yak really doesn't have a more powerful engine. It's just lighter and can just climbs like a feather. Anyway, so I end up seeing a Spitfire starting to close on me pretty quick. Yep, there he is. Good old Gad Dat Loop. Gad Dat Loop. He's closing in pretty quick, and at this moment I'm trying to rethink my plan here. So I'm using universal rounds on my 50 cals, and a lot of people prefer ground target ammunition, but I'm not sure why, as I like having more incendiary rounds so I can light more fires, because you're not going to break any wings with these 50 cals, especially with only 4 of them. So here I am closing. I'm trying to gain as much speed as possible despite me going into the head-on. Luckily I didn't get absolutely slammed with those Hispanos, which the Hispano 20 mils on the Spitfire absolute dog crap. And here I'm picking up speed, and I let my teammate F4U1C there take care of him, in which you'll see him absolutely obliterate the Spitfire in here in a second. And boom. The F4U1C has 4 AN 20mm cannons, which absolutely devastate other planes. Those 20 mils are insanely good. And I might actually, and on my last video I posted, I was using that plane, and it's a whole lot of fun. It has really good flaps, good turn, okay climb rate. And yeah, it's just great armament. So here I'm going to help this B-63, who is being attacked by a Spitfire and a BF-109. So I see this Spitfire making a very poor decision and going into a climb like that, in which I promptly light him on fire. Boom. Absolute flamethrower these 50 cals are. So since his plane is made of wood, he is absolutely going to burn up, and there's our F4U friend again who took out that BF-109. And sadly the Spitfire lights our friendly P-63 on fire, and he succumbs to the damage. So here I am in a climb again because I see the G55 and C205 out in the distance. Those planes have a really good turn rate, and I would stand no chance in a dogfight with them. So I'm going to do what the classic P-51 does, an energy fight. So I'm going to climb above them, gain speed and energy, which is something you absolutely need in this plane. Because if you don't have speed, you will suffer. All your maneuverability will just go down the hill. It's just gonna absolutely drop. Though you don't want to go too fast around above 6,000 meters unless you're running away, because this plane has a very awful rudder, like I said before. So it'll lock up and it'll be really hard to get that shot on. So here I have the energy advantage. I'm closing in fast, so now I'm going to gain speed by leveling out my plane. I'm going to go into a shallow dive. And I'm going to prepare to annihilate. Excuse me for a second. Yep, that's my brother. So, I'm here diving on him. And I'm gonna wait until I'm behind him, and boom, I strike. So at this moment, I'm gonna shoot at the C205, and I'm pretty sure I miss. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I miss, so I go back up into the zoom climb. And because that C205 is in a poor energy state, and he has worse energy retention than I do, he is not going to be able to follow. As you can see, I go from like 6 meters to 2,000 in an instant. And so, since he's not going to be able to follow me, because he's probably stalling out right now, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Spitfire, who at the moment is more of a threat. And I spring an oil leak, or I spring a water and an oil leak. So he's not going to be in the air for long. So I go back into the vertical, where the C205 can't catch me. But then I see the Spitfire come back up for me again. So I just keep climbing. Until he stalls out. Which should be here any second, because the Spitfire has it stalls out very late because of how much lift those wings generate. And once he stalls, I come straight back down to dive on him. Then I see the C205 come up, and I change my mind. And boom, fire. Climb straight back up. That's what you do in the P-51. Boom and zoom. And boom, he burns. So after my climb, I look for a target. Spitfire's running away back to his airfield like a bitch, and so I wait for the next guy to show up. And that Pyrominsky, whatever the hell you call it, I'm not going to butcher the name, comes up, and I'm thinking about taking him on. And eventually I do hit the Pyrominsky, and he you'll see later on. I can't really describe it right now, but I try to head on him because he's gonna have trouble aiming 3 guns at me, despite the. And actually, as a matter of fact, I definitely shouldn't have head on him because he has. I'm pretty sure that plane has the MG-151, which is the best 20 mils in the game, in my opinion. And I'll wait for him to stall out. Waiting. And Pyrominsky definitely has really good energy retention. It's very similar to the BF-109, same engine, kind of same build. So he stalls out. I go back in on the dive down. And the camera doesn't really cooperate with me there, so it's definitely kind of difficult to get my shot on, as well as my rudder being absolute garbage, and my aim. So then I keep my speed up instead of turn fighting it, like I shouldn't do, and this BF-109 is looking like a nice juicy kill, which I get. And this Pyrominsky is coming up again, so I zoom climb, go into the vertical, gain speed, and wait for him to stall out. Maybe therefore you can get the kill. But later he tells me he ran out of ammo, so that's not happening. So I stall climb because I saw he ran out of his 20mm ammo. So I'm like, alright, that's fine. And I use some flaps, stabilize, and I dive right back on down. So I'm really low on ammo, and I end up going into the turn fight with him because he's at a lower energy state than I am, and maybe I can catch him after a little bit, which I do. And my very poor aim prevents me from getting the kill there, and eventually I'm down to 5 more rounds. So, yeah, I do not get the kill here, but I do get a hit. So since I'm at an energy and he's still turning, I decide, alright, I'm gonna run away, because that's really the only option I have at the moment. So it looks like he's running back to his base too, lucky for me. But he ends up crashing, and I don't understand why I didn't get the kill, because I hit him a lot of times, though. I didn't get a critical hit. I still hit him regardless, but whatever. So yep, that's the game. Make sure you always energy fight in the P-51, and pretty much nothing else. Well, I hope that video was fairly important.